Hello, hello. Welcome to Leah Marlene 111. I don't know who's going to show up. Just like life, right? We don't know what's going to happen. But whether you're watching this live or in the recording, I wanted to give an update because I haven't been around. I haven't been around here anyway in a couple of months. And I wanted to give an update and just see how you're doing. I wanted to see what you're feeling and if you are asking yourself the most important question in life, which is what's for lunch? No, I'm just kidding. I am hungry for lunch. But the most important question in life, right? What is the most important question in your life? What is it? What is the most important question in your life? In 2010 was the first time I really asked myself that question, the most important question in life, which is, drum roll, please, who am I? Who are you? A lot of people answer that with, I'm a mom, or I'm a daughter, or I'm a friend, or I'm a son, or I'm a brother, sister, mother, whatever it is, right? Employee, or the title of your job. But the truth is, you're so much more than any of that. You're way more than any of that. So this is a December update, energy update, but this is also for any time in your life that you might be questioning, who am I? And what is it that you want? These are not easy questions to answer. And they might change with time, right? A while back, I would have said, I'm an actress, or I'm a stand-up comedian. And as I've gone further into my spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul, flying back out into the spiritual awakening, is I'm a child of God. And now you might not believe in God. That might have got you all upset. Or maybe you do believe in God. These are the questions that only you can answer. I work with a lot of actors as an acting teacher. I also work with a lot of people of all different types, right? And all different types of people come and they want to take an acting class because they want to play a character. Well, there is no character, especially if you don't even know who you are. And then I say, well, what makes you happy? And they say, I have no idea, but I'm miserable. Well, what would make you happy if I waved a magic wand? They say, I don't know. And when you've lost that, you've lost everything, right? Because then you don't have any drive. So the most important question in your life is, who am I? And what do I want? And allow that to fuel everything else. So one of the reasons I haven't done anything on this channel in a couple of months is because I didn't know what my intention was anymore with this channel. So the other most important question I have for you, and please let me know, what do you want to see from this channel? Is this your first time ever here? Have you been here? Have you been here with me since the beginning? How did you find me? I know this is a lot of questions. You don't have to answer all of those, but I would love to know, because I've done a lot of different things on this channel in the last couple of years. And as a personal share and my own personal energy update for you, the last couple of years have not been easy. It has been a you know what show, to say the least, the last couple of years. There's been a lot of really beautiful things in my life, but there has also been a lot of challenges. I jumped on YouTube a couple of years ago, just navigating, just trying to see what the online space was all about, to really help my students, to be able to help them to have another avenue to express, to create and express art in a way that they could own it. But I didn't know how to do it. So then I just fell face forward into this world, into this YouTube land. And I've learned a lot of hard lessons the hard way in my personal life and also on this channel. A lot of narcissism videos, because I went through like the last spiritual attacks of narcissists. I had to let that through my system. Can you relate to that? Have you experienced narcissism? And honestly, it's kind of embarrassing when I look back at some of these videos, which I really don't ever do, but just browsing through even some of the videos that I've produced on here, and it's embarrassing. If you want to see somebody going through a dark night of the soul, watch some of my videos from the past couple of years. I was going through breakups, I was getting used and abused, and then still tried to wake up and put on a positive face. Put on a positive face, right? Mask up. Sometimes it feels like a mask. Sometimes a spiritual awakening can feel like so hard and sad. I've never done a live stream, by the way, through this StreamYard app. So I can't even see if anybody's on here. So that's fine. It's going to be as if I'm just recording a regular video, I guess. So what I wanted to ask you is, where are you? What is the most important thing in your life? What is the most important question of your life? Who are you? Why are you gravitated towards channels like this? Where are you in your own spiritual awakening journey? I really want to know, because I want to know how I can best serve. Because while these videos are for me and they help me to navigate stuff, and like I said, I've gone through a whole dark night of the soul and losing friends and going through some really disastrous relationships that taught me a lot over the last couple of years. But as I was putting out content, some of that is embarrassing, I say, just because you can see me in my shadow self. You can see me trying so hard to do what? I don't know, to people please somebody, and I don't even know who or what. It's an egoic idea, right? So have you ever been in that space where you're trying to do it right, but you don't even know what that right thing is? So I have had a lot of experience with narcissists, and I've done a lot of research on it, and I can help with that. But the reason I didn't know what to do with this channel anymore is because while there's still narcissists in the world and emotional intelligence is very important, it's also important to focus where you're putting your energy. And I noticed the more I was putting energy into that, the more that was growing, essentially, with more narcissists around. Now, there are ways to help yourself and to shield yourself in a way from the psychic attacks and the spiritual warfare that goes on when you navigate spaces like that, right? I mean, therapists can relate to that, because sometimes as a therapist, I've worked with a lot of therapists, and I've also been in therapy, and they need therapy the most oftentimes because their clients can be really draining. Whatever you do for a living, it can be really draining if you don't come back to center and say, okay, where am I? Who am I? What's the most important question in my life? What do I want to give, and how do I want to serve? That's another huge question to answer. And it might be a lifelong process, right? This stuff isn't always all mapped out perfectly, as much as a lot of people on YouTube want to say, in 5 steps, I can give you the best life if you just do this and this and this. But we all know that's not true. It's messy. And while steps and strategies can help, there is not one roadmap for every single person that is going to be the exact same. You might do everything the right way, and it doesn't line up for you the way that it did for Joe Schmo or whatever that is, right? And so in this energy update, it was just a new moon. And I do believe that there's a lot that goes into all of that, right? When the ocean tides are changing with the moon, and we're made up of water, 90% of water or something, of course we're going to change with all that. But ultimately, none of that is in control of you. So who you are is going to determine how you navigate all this. Is it free will, or is it destiny? What is it that you believe? And that is going to be your guiding light. So I don't even know who I'm talking to, but some people who've been a part of my channel from the beginning know that this past year my dad died. And that has been a huge spiritual awakening for me. Death can be a really big spiritual wake-up call to what's most important in your life and who you really want to be and what you want to put out there. Also, if you've had any sort of near-death experiences, let me know. Have you had a near-death experience yourself or going through the grieving process to somebody else? They both can get you to that mortality point where you're looking at, why am I here? Who am I? What is most important in my life? And so this past year, I've been asking myself that a lot. How do I want to serve? What am I here to do? Dear God, help me. What am I here to do? How can I serve? How can I help in any way, myself and other people, right? So in 2010, I was diagnosed with melanoma. And that's when I really began asking these big questions. What am I here to do? How can I serve? I was acting, I was an actress in LA and doing stand-up, and everything was going really well. And then I got this wake-up call. And that was my first spiritual, well, I'd really been going through a spiritual awakening. Maybe you can relate to this too. People say, oh, I went through a spiritual awakening in 2003. I'm like, no. In my opinion, a spiritual awakening is your whole life, right? You never have this thing figured out, but there's moments in that timeline where you really wake up to what's important. And that was a moment in my timeline where I really woke up to what was important. How can I serve? And so the idea kept coming up of, you can help by giving back this technique that's given you so much as an actor, the Meisner technique, which also helps people of all different walks of life. If you want to learn more about that, please email me or check my links. I love doing it because it helps you to read behavior, helps you with emotional intelligence, helps your imagination, and gets you connected to these most important things in life. So it's much bigger than acting. But this idea came to me of giving that back. I didn't know how, I didn't know where, I didn't know what that was going to look like. And then in 2013, I opened up my business, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. But it hasn't been easy. So I guess this energy update is a reminder to help you, as my dad always said, to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on, no matter what, no matter how many dark nights of the soul you go through, and then high times and low times and questioning times, that you got to keep on keeping on. And so after my dad died this past February, I'd been questioning myself. What am I here to do? How can I serve? Who am I? And when you start to ask these questions, and maybe you already have, please let me know if you have. But when you begin to continue to ask these questions throughout the course of your life, they may shift and they may change. And in this December energy update, I invite you to really look at spiritual signs, right? The universe is only as magical as you allow it to be, or as you believe it to be. So that's why the first most important question is, who am I? Because if you're a child of God, if you believe in God, that's going to fuel a lot of those other answers. If you believe in nothing, well, that's believing in something. And that's something that's going to fuel answers. But that is, I believe, the most important question to ask. And then be open to the signs and the guidance, whether it's your spiritual guides, God, whatever it is that you believe, just the magic of life, whatever it is, to be open to noticing all the things. So I began asking these questions, and then something I haven't shared here is a dove came and visited me. A dove, a white dove with blue, the brightest blue that you've ever seen, and pink and green, is so beautiful. And it actually lives here at my house now on my back patio. And it flies off and it's wild, and then it comes back. And it's a symbol of peace and love and purity. And it's been an answer and a gift and a mystery. And it's been such a wonderful experience that my daughter and I have been able to share with this bird that my daughter so perfectly named Curious. So this energy update is an invitation to stay curious about who you are and what is it that you desire in your life. So this bird has been teaching me so much, and it also goes into the Bible. Now, this isn't a Bible talk. I'm not here to give a Bible talk. I'm just saying my experience and my spiritual awakening journey. I had always been open spiritually and studied lots of different religions, but never read the Bible religiously until this past year. And it's interesting as another symbolism piece to start really staying awake to this stuff. My dad's birthday was December 10th. On December 10th of 2023, I was given a Bible. And I have had Bibles over the years, but never one that I really, like I said, have been studying every day. And very apropos, even though I didn't know at the time, I was given this Bible on my dad's birthday. My mom and dad are divorced, but my mom had given it to me. Little did I know that just 2 short months later, my dad would die. This Bible has been such a saving grace, but the bird has been a symbol of this Bible. So one day, when I was asking these questions of who am I, how can I serve, what am I here to do, the big questions, I was reading in the Bible about Jonah and the whale. And if you don't know, I know this isn't a Bible class or something, and I'm going to speak on this in a very layman's way, right? Because I'm not like a philosopher on the Bible. I'm very novice. I'm just learning it. But this I felt really interesting, and let me know if you think this is interesting. I was reading, what should I do? What should I talk about? How can I serve? What is it? And this story of Jonah, I just flipped it open and the story of Jonah came out, right? Well, Jonah was supposed to talk. God had talked to Jonah about talking to the people about the word of God. And he was like, I don't want to. And he's like, this is going to help to stop wars and to bring peace and to end the division if you talk, Jonah. And Jonah tried to hide from God. Jonah was mad at God. See, sometimes also in your spiritual awakening, you might ask the question and get the answer, but then you fight with the answer, right? Can you relate to that? I know that's happened to me many times in my life. That happened to me when I first had the idea of the business. It was like, no, I don't want to do that. Who am I to teach acting? Well, I'm an actress. First of all, I used to think that was second prize to be a teacher. Now I realize it's the first prize. I love it because I can live vicariously through all my students who are succeeding and help so many more people. And I had no idea how much I would love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I don't even know. I love helping people get roles now, but I don't know that I'm even interested in acting personally anymore. But at first I really fought with God and my higher self about that. I was like, no, I don't want to teach. I don't want to do that, right? So just like Jonah, I was hiding. And then this year I was hiding because God was like, why don't you talk to people about your journey, about what's going on? I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't know how. I don't know what. And, I did a video on Venezuelan gangs because that was like the first little talk about this stuff. Leah, talk about it. And I was like, I don't want to. I can't. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about this. And God's like, it's not politics. It's your life. It's your living experience. Share it. And I was scared. And so I wrestled and I fought with God and I didn't want to. So in the story of Jonah and the whale, Jonah says, I don't want to, and hides from God. Well, then there's a big storm, right? God makes a big, huge storm. And now I'm messing up the story a little bit. Correct me, because now it's been a little while. But he then goes out with some fishermen, and they're in the in the middle of the ocean, and there's a big storm, and the fishermen are like, oh my goodness, what's happening? And Jonah says, it's my fault. I know it's my fault because I defied God, because I fought with God. I didn't want to do what he said. So it's my fault. If you get rid of me, then the storm will go. So they're like, okay. And they didn't know. And they were praying to their false idols, their little gods, right? Not the big God. And he's like, if you believe in God, why don't you pray to your God, Jonah, and save us? And he says, I need to go overboard and then it'll be fine. So they threw him overboard. And then, of course, it was like sunshine and they were fine and everything. Well, then a whale comes and eats Jonah, right? And then what happened? I just forgot. What happened? See, now I'm having my own cognitive dissonance with this. Let me know what happened. I would have to go back and read the story. But there was also a story of the dove that went and saw Jonah during this time. And then, of course, once God and Jonah reconciled, I'm totally butchering this story, the whale spit out Jonah. And then he realized he needs to do who he came to be. He needs to be who he came to be, right? And the dove was a symbol of that. Well, after reading this story that I just completely butchered, I'm sorry for all you religious scholars out there, but you get the gist of it. A dove came to my house, a dove named Curious now. So I couldn't deny it anymore. I mean, I could, but life isn't as magical and fun and when you deny these amazing things happening. So that's what I've been looking at, is my Curious, the dove, every day. And being curious about what I want to do with this channel, how I can be of service. Right? So sometimes in that spiritual awakening, there's a darkness. There's a dark night of the soul. I don't want to talk about the Venezuelan gang. Some people got mad at me about that. I lost subscribers about it. And I'm like, oh gosh, what am I supposed to do? So sometimes in life, you'll put yourself into a little box. Like, I've got to only talk about narcissism, or only can talk about spiritual awakening, or I'm not allowed to talk about the crime happening all around because that's too political and I'm going to get people upset. Well, I'm coming into a season in my life where I'm really giving myself permission to be all of me. And all of me is in the world navigating all this stuff. Yes, I'm an acting teacher. See, the small part of me says, no, Lee, you're just an acting teacher. You should be getting on here just giving acting tips. That's not even the type of acting I teach. Maybe, I mean, it is in the sense of like, you're going to get tips, but it's a much deeper dive. It's not just like 5 easy ways to get confident on stage. It's not like that. It's a deep dive into your soul, into your emotional intelligence, into what makes you tick, into your imagination, into your belief system. And so I can do that much better and on a deeper dive inside my classes and at one-on-one and private coaching sessions, which, by the way, I'm running a special right now, Cyber Monday. Why not, right? 50% off all of my private coaching. I'm rolling back prices to 2013. I've done this a couple times this year and it's been very successful. I want to help you. I want to be able to serve. So if you're in the least bit curious about coaching, private coaching with me on Zoom, this would be the time to jump in. Take advantage, stock up for 2025, and see how I might be able to help you navigate your business, your life, your authenticity on stage, on camera, in life, because it goes far beyond just acting for me. But maybe at some point I do start an acting channel and I only talk about acting all the time. Maybe I start an only narcissism channel and I do that all the time, just so I can niche on this platform. So if you've stayed with me from the beginning, first, I also want to thank you so much for being here, because I realize it's been confusing. I don't know what the heck's going on. It's been confusing, right? One minute I'm talking about spirituality, and the next minute I'm talking about Venezuelan gangs or who knows what. And it may still always be like that as it evolves. I don't know, but I'm open to discovering. Are you open to discovering who you are in your life at this point in life? So with my dad passing away, you know, it has different parts of you that also die when a loved one dies. Parts of me from my childhood have been, you know, stirred up and woken up. And also, like, I've been mourning that part of me, because there are certain dreams that, you know, I'll never get experience with my dad here on this planet. So things shift. And so I started really looking at what is the most important thing to me. So another big change, and another reason why I haven't done a video on this channel, is because my daughter, who's 8, who just turned 8, she has gone through a major transformation as well in her own spiritual awakening journey. And we realized the public school she was in was not a good fit for her. Well, that's really upsetting sometimes when you're going with the status quo and every day and blah, blah, and you go to school and you do this or you go to work. Maybe you can relate to this. Like you have a job that you're like, this isn't really working out, but what am I here to do? I'll just figure it out later and just not be happy in my job from 9 to 5. And then, years can pass like that. So we began looking at all the things that are working and aren't working and that maybe need to be re-examined. And one of the things was that her public school was not a good fit for her. We kept trying to make the square peg into the triangle hole or something, but it just wasn't working. And so now she's being homeschooled. I mean, there has been so many transitions. And so I can talk about homeschool. I had started a channel about homeschooling. There's lots of different things. I'm a single mom. I could talk about that. There's a lot of different touch points that each and every one of us have. You're not just one thing. You're not just a girl or a boy, a man or woman or whatever it is, right? You're multifaceted. And so in this December energy update, I invite you to be open to all of who you are at any given moment, even though it can be kind of scary and it can be upsetting. And by the way, I am fine. The Venezuelan gangs didn't get me. If you want to know what the heck I'm talking about, watch the video I did on Venezuelan gangs. They are real though. And that was upsetting to me that even became a political thing. But everything right now is politicized. And something else, as an artist, I was really scared because as an artist, you're supposed to think one way or be one way with everything. And anybody who's ever worked with me knows I'm open to all different viewpoints. I might not agree with you. We don't have to agree on everything. But I love hearing about different things because I believe that's how the best art is created anyway. Not from just one way. We all have to think one exact way. But something I've really had a tough time with in my life is that as an artist, it's kind of felt like you're supposed to. If to be in this club, you have to think this one way. And I just never thought that way. I've always been kind of out of the box in that. And so with the Venezuelan gang, that was like the tip my toes in the ice, in the ice water on just even talking about anything in that realm, right? Or Trump as a super empath. And I know that irritated some people. And so I did start a different channel where I just talk politics. Now, this might really bum some of my students out or something, but I just invite you, no matter where you are, let's talk about it. If we disagree, let's talk about it. So you're welcome to check out that other channel. It's been an expression for me to just be able to talk, to be able to connect with other people who had those views that I felt like I wasn't able to talk about freely. Even with the most loving and inclusive people, I felt shunned. So that's been another expression for me. So in this energy update, I invite you to scare yourself, to face that fear, to fight with whatever it is that you're thinking that might be called, if you believe in God, where I was fighting with God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that with my business. Well, then it became better and bigger than I could have ever imagined. I've met some of the most amazing people and worked with some of the most amazing talent on this planet, and also help them to fulfill their dreams. That is so rewarding. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And then going through this next phase of my life where I've been healing from all that narcissism and all that psychic attacks and all that stuff, and now transforming into this new chapter. I'm excited where this channel is going to go. And I would love your input on what would help you the most right now, how I can support you the most with this channel. And if you want to check out that other channel, you're welcome to. It's all about freedom of speech. Now, it is political. It is political, and I do share my political views. I don't keep it all super diplomatic because I needed to have a place to express. It's called the Hutchison House if you want to check it out. And if not, it's fine. But that I felt like did need to be niched out, right? I don't know why, but I just did it because I'm trying to follow my own internal calling and the guidance I'm getting from God, because that's who I am. I'm a child of God, and I'm here to do my life's work, whatever that is, through God's guidance, using me as a vessel, as scary as that is. And as much as I want to hide in my bed and go, no, not me, I can't do it, I'm not capable, I'm doing it anyway. And as much as I get scared, like, oh, that's going to offend somebody if I have a viewpoint, or if I, care about the safety of my family, that might hurt somebody else's feelings, I'm braving up now because it's time. Because one thing that it taught me with my dad dying is that there is no other time than right now. These aren't just platitudes that are like nice things to write on a poem, on a poetry book or something. These are real things to live by. So the very most important question in your life is, who am I? Not me. Who are you? Who am I? What do I want? How can I serve? And then to be ready and open for the answers. But there might be a little fight there. I'm just saying. I know I fought with it. But I'm trusting now more than ever. So I invite you to trust the process. It can end up better than you could have ever imagined. With my daughter, it's opening up worlds for us. We're connecting in ways that we never have. I've been able to see what she's working on. My small self, see, this is the fight. The small self say, no, you can't do that. And how are you going to work out working and also homeschooling and doing, it's impossible. That's the fight, right? That's the darkness. That's the devil, if you believe in that, trying to keep you small. That's your ego trying to keep you small. The ego can also be very ambitious, but the ego can also try to keep you small if you don't keep it in check, right? So I knew that was the answer, but I was scared. And so I didn't want to. But then when I got in my higher self and I trusted and I pray, meditate, do all the things and listen to the world, even if I don't want to, even if I want to be that defiant kid, it's opened us up to a connection that I could have never imagined. I'm seeing what she's learning about, and I'm advocating for my kid because she felt like she was being bullied at school and she felt unsafe. And this was going on for 3 years. And as much as I wanted the school to be what we wanted it to be, it wasn't a fit for her. So I invite you to ask yourself the same questions. Where in your life are you trying to make something a fit because you think it should be? Logically, it is. It's working for everybody else. But maybe for you, it isn't. Maybe for you, it's time to move on or grow out of that job or change that situation. But maybe you're fighting with God like Jonah or trying to hide. And so the storm is coming in. I invite you to trust. Miracles will show up. It does get better. It's scary, can be really sad, and it can bring up a lot of anger and fear. But in that, you can also resolve and heal some of that stuff. So I just wanted to check in today and see how you are. Thank you for being here. If you've been with me from the beginning or any time at all, if you're just showing up, welcome. If you've subscribed to this channel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really do. And I'm here for you. I want to help you. I want to co-create with you. I want to support you the best I can. Because like Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home. Nobody has all the answers. We're all just figuring it out. And so when you find people that you understand somehow, that resonate with you somehow, it can make your walk easier. It can lift you up. It can encourage you and support you. And for the people that I can encourage and support and lift up, that's what I'm here to do. I know that's my life mission. And it has been for quite some time. And I know that the people that I've been honored to work with, it has been the greatest joy of my life, seeing them flourish and succeed. That is one of the best honors next to being a mom that I can say that I've experienced in my life. So I know that's my life mission, but how it exactly pans out, I don't know. But I'm open to discovering. Are you open to discovering? If you're brand new here, please subscribe. If any of this resonates with you, please comment below and let me know. And let me know what you want to see out of this channel. I don't want to just disappear from here. I want to do some content on here, but I don't know what it's going to be. Probably always under the umbrella of spiritual awakening, because to me, that's what all of life is a big awakening, a big unfolding. And so one minute, maybe I will talk about narcissism. It's still a thing in the world. But we have to be very cognizant about what we're attracting, what we're putting out there. So what are you putting out there this last month of 2024, last month of 2024, December? But you could be watching this anytime. And whenever you're watching this is perfect divine right timing to ask yourself the most important question in your life. And if you want to know what in the world I was talking about the Venezuelan gangs, watch that video, watch the super empath video, or watch me go through a dark night of the soul and be super devastated through breakups and narcissism and deaths. Fun, right? You can see that. It's all here on this channel. So where this goes here forward is up to divine right guidance. And it's also up to you and your input, because I'm here for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Be good to yourself, and I'll see you next time.